Welcome back. This is a continuation of 10-minute tips helping you become a better business person as well as a good salesman. We've gone through the prospecting, and our last session that we had was on the qualification process. Today we're going to focus on the presentation process. So where are we? As the slide says, you've done a fine job in prospecting, you secured the appointment, but now what do? Well, you already qualified the prospect, especially if you listened to our last presentation, so that you can find out what their needs or wants are, focusing on why people buy, why they don't buy. So once you've done that and you have a ready listener, someone that has an open mind, now the job begins. It's the presentation. Let's take a look at the 4 P's of presentation. And again, I like to say I gather this data from so many different places, and a lot of the qualification of the presentation process is from Tom Hopkins, one of the greatest salespeople in the world. But the first P, as he states in the presentation, is pre-plan. Don't wing it. You know, many people say, hey, Ray, you put on these 10-minute tips, you do the webinars, you do in-reviews, and, you don't use a script. You don't have a teleprompter. Well, why? I'm not winging it. I'm prepared. I know what I'm going to talk about. And I sit down the night before, the morning, and I take a look at my presentation. I've basically used the same presentation from when I started in the business in 1972 to into the 90s when I was on Wall Street raising money, $25 million to take the former company public, and now today, it's the same presentation, but I'm always prepared. Only amateurs wing it. The next is practice. You must continually practice. Great athletes, speech writers, everyone, teachers, they're practicing, they're improving their trade. Why would we expect to get any better if we don't practice? It's like if a guy just went in, didn't practice, he's a baseball player, and then stood up at the plate. He's not going to be as good unless he takes those batting practices. Hundreds of balls, thousands. It's the same for us. It's the same for any business. And then the third P is perfect. Each time that you practice, each time that you give a performance, and you truly are giving a performance when you make a presentation, you need to perfect it. You need to go back and say, what could I change? What worked well? Don't throw everything out. Make sure you always have the base, the substance there, but you're going to know that, hey, maybe I need to change because of the times, because of the economics, because of the news that's out today, and find some topic or a concept that would truly apply that will get our people to pay attention. And when they pay attention, now we have to perform. You've heard me say many times that all business is show business. And I mean that in an extremely positive way. I don't care if you're a minister, a priest, or a rabbi, if you're a teacher, if you're a doctor, you're performing. You're performing because you want to make sure that people pay attention to your message. You don't want to just be drab because people want to be entertained. They want to feel like, they want the wow factor. So perform. Make sure there's excitement in your face and in your voice. And when you're on the phone too, remember, make them hear the smile in your voice. Keep that chin up, the cheeks up, so that you're always smiling. It's hard not to be excited with your face up. Awful hard to be excited if you have a frown. Let's take a look at some other vital parts of the presentation. As the first screen says here, it must be educational. Teach the benefits of associating with you and your firm. Teach the benefits of the product, not just the writers, but what this concept or product will accomplish for them and how it will come back to reward them and their families. The next is motivation. That's a very vital part of the presentation. Teaching's fine. Teaching's a great occupation. My wife was a teacher. I'd love to be a teacher. They're the best at what they do, but do they get paid much? No. So teaching them is fine, but you get paid when you motivate them to the point where there's a call to action and they want to take action. And also another part, it has to be fun. Let's talk about different things. Let's talk about the kids, the grandkids. Let's talk about the Cubs. Let's talk about the Colts not winning the Super Bowl. Maybe we don't want to talk about that as much. But you see, I'm making it kind of fun right now. There's a lot of things that we can do to make it fun. We can talk about things like, have you ever heard that saying, it's only a paper loss? Is that how you felt when the market was down 45%? I don't think so, right? Just little things like that. Tell them stories. And another thing, selling is not a spectator sport. Now, I'm not saying it's got to be hand-to-hand contact and you've got to get in there and wrestle. And I don't believe in the knockout punch. I don't believe in the find 'em, grind 'em, bind 'em concept. I want a client. That's okay if it's a transactional sale and we're selling coffee cups or something. Get in, get out. They may not buy again from us. But we are professionals in what we do and offer a great, great service. But remember, you have to get everybody involved and you have to work hard. How about some tidbits here for the presentation? Why don't we turn our negatives into positives? Look at this for an example. In other words, let's turn our perceived weaknesses into strengths and our competition's perceived strengths into weaknesses. An example might be this. Yes, we are much smaller than Merrill Lynch or Prudential and the other big boys. Our clients like that. And you know why, Mr. Prospect? They're not just a number with us. They're very important. Use glamour words, words that pop, words that sing, things like elite. You will have priority access to me and to my firm. We have concierge type service. And I know you'll really enjoy our client appreciation events. And the rule of 72, where your money doubles in 10 years. Things like that. How about this? Use visual aids. How many times have we heard the old saying that a picture is worth 1,000 words? What I'm doing right now, you're watching me. This is a visual aid. I would encourage you to have your own DVD. You might not think it's necessary, but would I be as effective to you today if I didn't have this video, if it was just by phone? I hope you think that this is worth the effort and the time, the money. Because I think we need to show pictures, we need to have visuals, and you need to get into today's world and do PowerPoints and utilize the computer. Endorsement letters, referred lead letters. Go to your best clients and ask them, will they put together a little letter of endorsement for you? And then even suggest, I know that sometimes it's hard to put these things together. Would you mind if I just wrote a short one for you, sent it to you? Please feel free to alter and don't put your name to anything that you don't feel comfortable with. But it will be something like this, XYZ, and give them an example. Send them the letter, tell them to write it on their stationery or just sign their name. It's worth millions of business. Give your clients a triplicate of choices. Don't just go for the one concept. Like right now, my pen, we're selling pens. I have the Mont Blanc and it's X amount of dollars. It might be 150 bucks. Oh my gosh, I can't afford a pen for 150. And I have the Bic down here for 29 cents. While the Bic might not be a good pen for you in the position you're in, Mr. Prospect, I understand, but you say you don't want to buy the Mont Blanc, and that's why most of our clients gravitate towards our fine Cross $25 pen, which does have that elite status. It puts you ahead of everyone else, and it's a great writing instrument that will last for many, many years. And remember this, prospects do business with us based on emotion, and then they defend their decisions based on logic. So you need to take this presentation concept. It's got to be fun. It has to be something where it is not a spectator sport. We are getting them to want to take action. And the emotion of the referred lead letters, of the different things that we can do from all of those things will drive them to do business with you. But remember, they will defend that decision based upon logic. Make sure that you continually drip your client after that presentation, before policy delivery. Send them that newsletter. Give them information that's of importance to them. And make sure, as I always say, which is another acronym that I borrowed from somebody, make sure that anything you talk to your client about, anything that you send them has BUNS. B-U-N-S. Make sure it's beneficial, urgent, novel, and specific. And then you, like the Olson Group, will truly be known as a different experience. And until next time, good selling.